Hello, welcome to the Tutors of Life podcast where we research life so you don't have to. Episode 223. This is your host, Shaun Tutor.
And this is Sam. This is a tutor episode where we try to teach you something new.
Love it.
I got distracted because the curtain is open behind me.
Is it usually not?
No.
So people can just see our shitty ass oak trees.
Yep.
That's fine. What's wrong with it?
Well, it might cause a glare on the camera.
Ah, sure. Makes sense. Nice. There you go.
Yep.
Good work. What do you got today, babe? Hold on. First off, we went and saw Oppenheimer last night.
Yes.
How'd you like it?
I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
What'd you love?
I just love the intellectual type of movies. So they... Like Imitation Game. That's another one of my favorite movies. I don't know, not much action, not much comedy, just a lot of, like, intellectualness.
Drama.
Yeah.
Drama.
Mm-hmm.
Not like drama, but like a drama.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thoroughly enjoyed the movie. I liked the lessons it could. I don't know if it's trying to show these lessons or if people are understanding it, but like instead of talking with other countries and discussing, hey guys, if we try to do this shit, there's a potential we ruin the world.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're not talking about fighting with guns or swords or whatever the hell anymore, right? Like, we're talking about things that could blow up the whole world.
Yep.
And I feel like, you know, maybe they should have done more discussing with the other, like, main countries in the world of, like, hey, guys, do we really want to go down this? Or, like, what if we instead made some rules, made some guidelines?
Well, that's what, like, I thought it was interesting because, like, the scientists were the ones that, like, they had a lot of remorse after the fact. And, like, and even, like, during, they were all like, hey, we should maybe talk to Russia about this.
Because, like, we're going to blow people into nothingness.
Right. And they're just like, nah, we don't want them knowing that we'd made this.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And then, so, I enjoyed the chain of events, or like the shit that happened, that the cause and effect. And pretty much cause and effect, because they made the first atomic bomb, there's endless things we can do now. Nuclear war is here.
Yeah.
And so, like, because of that thing, making the first atomic bomb, at any point in time, the world could just be over.
Yeah.
Completely over. And so that is one thing that the movie, like, shows you well, I think, is, like, because of the actions of World War II, the world can end at any minute now. Second thing, the U.S. will screw you over no matter what. Like, the U.S. government, it does not matter. Does not matter how much you help them. Does not matter what you've done. If it's for their narrative, they will fuck you.
Are you saying because they kind of, like, turned their backs on?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, without, like, giving away the movie, it very clearly shows, like...
I mean, that was, like, one thing, like, the scientists, like, or, like, people were questioning the longest time, like, what are they going to do with all the scientists once they accomplish the atomic bomb?
Right.
Like, they could kill them. They could imprison them. Like, they could do anything to them.
Right.
So yeah, that is like something that's kind of like scary to think about.
Mm-hmm.
I also feel like I don't think we've had like impressive scientists in the past 50 years. 50, 60, 70 years, like since then, right? Like, because during that time period, there was Einstein, Bohr, like, there was so many well-known scientists around the world, and, like, they all knew each other or knew of each other. And I feel like you don't, and maybe it's because I'm not in the science world anymore, but, like, even when I was in college, I don't remember there being, like, any big science names like there are now. There's been no real discoveries.
Right, and so I think this is why. There in the early 40s, there's only been like the last 120 years is when, or I would say the last like 175 200 years has been like the most scientific discovery and technology and everything has only been really serious for the last like 150 175 years, whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think there were so many like new things coming out even into the 40s of like, oh no, this is a new law we figured out, these are new things, right? And I think now, since those things were like figured out and those laws were put into place, I think now the last like 80 years has just been the like building on those rules and laws that everyone was finding out early on.
Mm-hmm. I guess too. Yeah, it's probably changed now because it's probably like Elon Musk with Tesla, Steve Jobs with Apple, Bill Gates with Microsoft. Like the science world is now like more technology than like the theories and stuff that they were all creating back then.
Yeah, because I was listening to someone who was like, they were talking about aliens on Joe Rogan's podcast. But they said like we've only known about like quantum mechanics and the quantum theory for the last like 100 years roughly.
Yeah.
And so the point he made is like, if we've only known about like quantum theory for the last 100 years, how developed of a world would we be if we cannot kill ourselves, if we don't blow ourselves up, right, through nuclear war? Where would we be in 5,000 years with knowing like quantum theory? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
His thing is like, we've only had it for 100 years, and like look at what we've done in 100 years. We're like in the technology phase, like getting, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like, what happens for the next 5,000 years if we can manage not to blow each other up?
Mm-hmm.
The like space travel done, too easy, and finding like other inhabited other inhabited worlds, too easy in 5,000 years, you know?
Yeah.
So I just think that like right now we're just building on laws we currently know of, and it's less exploration of new laws and more building on what we do know. That's my thought on why maybe we haven't seen more discoveries.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, so I loved it. I thought it was great.
It was good. Good movie.
It didn't feel like 3 hours either.
No, it went by fast.
Yeah.
It went by really fast.
Yeah. A lot of well-known actors. And they all did. I think the acting was phenomenal.
Oh, it was really good acting. I can't even. That movie budget had to be insane.
Yeah, Cillian Murphy.
Star. Mm-hmm. I like Florence Pugh in it.
Ian told me that Florence Pugh was in there, and I was like, I have no clue who that is.
I didn't.
And then you did.
Oh, I didn't.
Did you know she was gonna do that in the movie?
No, but like Florence Pugh is known for two things. Mm-hmm. Number one, being absurdly liberal. Mm-hmm. Number two, all the movies she's in, she shows her tits.
Nice.
So like, if you need that,
she's a great actress.
To put her as a communist.
I was gonna say it makes it even better because she's a communist.
No, and that's just it. Like when I was watching the movie and she was a communist, I was like, they could not have picked a better role.
That's so funny.
Like they picked the best role for her, and I'm very proud of Hollywood for doing that.
Especially like how she was so emotional the entire time, and it was just like, no, don't give me flowers. But you called me. don't give me flowers.
Yeah.
And then kills herself in the end because he leaves her.
You shouldn't have.
No, I'm sorry, I ruined it.
Spoiler alert, guys. Wow, Sam.
I know. But it's perfect.
Oh, it's beautiful. They phenomenal casting they did.
Also, we're probably the last people to see that movie.
A lot. Yeah. Well, no, not even, most people didn't go see it. So that was awesome. I golfed the last 3 days in a row.
Yeah, you have.
That was fun. Friday, back barely held up. No, Friday, back was okay.
Yeah.
It was pretty tender. Saturday, my back was like, whew. Today, money in the bank.
Nice. That's good.
Yep. And then it's just, I've noticed with golfing, depending on how you hold the club, can change your game completely.
Yeah.
Like, I'm talking like just rotating your hands just a little bit, like a little, it can change the game so much. And then you're like, follow through.
We should have put all this in a talk episode.
Yes, you're right, but I just don't care.
Okay. We're 11 minutes in, just thought I would let you know.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
So anyways, I like sports like that. The importance of coaching. Incredible.
I think about that with I wouldn't say softball as much, but football, you have to think, right? Because if you change the movement on your on the ball, your throw will be slightly different, right?
Yes.
Think how fast you have to think when you get the ball to make sure your hand is in that perfect place.
It is not thinking, it's muscle memory from thousands of repetition.
That is true.
It's the same thing with golf, because I was talking to Jake about that. Maybe this will be what we tutor on today. Who knows?
Just change.
Pivot. Our friend Utah will go golf 36 holes in a day, right? But if you want to be good, you need to, because you need the repetition. Boom, boom, boom. It's all muscle memory, almost. And that was when I was in weightlifting, right? And I was getting coached in weightlifting. Different weight moves differently. So you can move 50 kilos on a snatch perfectly every time, right? That does not mean you're going to correlate and move 110 kilos the same.
Right.
It's a little different of a movement because of how much the weight impacts your levers. So the more repetitions you can do, the better you get. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Good.
Is that why not a lot of people get their PRs in competition? Because it's a different weight.
Yeah, because so what I mean by that, you're trying to have the same bar path. You're trying to have the same bar path. You're trying to do all that, but your body moves differently. Okay, so in my point being here, you want to try to make your body move the same way at every weight.
Yeah.
But it moves different because when you go to pull on that bar, maybe your ass raises a little bit sooner because you're at 120 kilos compared to 110. So because that bar has a little bit more weight on it, so that it has a little less leeway, instead of you driving with your legs and your hips going up, your ass might kick out a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And just by doing that, that can throw off your lift.
Yeah.
And then you need to keep your lats locked in to keep your bar sweeping towards the body. But with 120 kilos compared to 110 kilos, dude, your lats might not be strong enough to handle 120 kilos. So you start coming up and you're needing to keep that bar close to your body, but your lats are giving out a little bit. And so that bar gets a little farther away from your body. So then you're not meeting your hips at the right point. So it becomes a completely different lift. And so, yeah, people in competition who haven't done a shit ton of repetitions at those higher weights
Yeah.
are going to bomb out. So sure, like in competition, those people might be able to go up and hit like 150 kilos, right? Say like in comp, they can work, or in training, they can go up and hit 150 kilos.
Mm-hmm.
But they've only ever done that like once, and they're training around 70-80% all the time, and they're not hitting like 140s. They're just hitting like a lot of 120s and shit. When they go to competition and they start and they gotta hit a 140, they ain't never even touched that shit.
Yeah.
Where like they've touched it, but they haven't touched it enough for it to be muscle memory.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So, but that's like with everything. Muscle memory comes into play so much, and that'd be like throwing a football, lifting, golfing, all those things, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's one thing where muscle memory needs to be there, but you should not rely on muscle memory. You should rely on like talking through a certain thing,
mm-hmm.
and that's shooting.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But so you have to do it enough times so that when you're in it and you talk yourself through your shot, that you're able to make the same shot. So it's still like you still need thousands and thousands of reps to do that accurately. But that's like the best archery shooter in the world. They do the same exact drawback as always. They put the kisser where it needs to be. They put their hand where it needs to be. They do everything the exact same, right? But they don't just like do that and then like pull the trigger, release the arrow. They like talk themselves through what they're doing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like, okay, and now we fire, whatever it is. So something like that with more precision, maybe you're supposed to. It's called like shot IQ. You're supposed to like completely restart every shot, if that makes sense.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's different. Anyways, so that's kind of, I don't know. Sorry, guys. I don't even know how the fuck this is a Tutor episode. We're going everywhere.
You're going everywhere.
Going everywhere. But, all right, we're just going to keep going. We're going down this road.
Okay.
We're moving.
That's fine.
The importance of coaching, and I don't think people think about it enough. When you're golfing, you don't know what you're fucking up. You know what I'm saying? You know you're fucking up, but you don't know what you're fucking up. And until you know what you're fucking up, then that's the only way you can start getting better. So, like, being able to, like, when you swing the ball and it hooks instead of slicing, to be able to know what you just did on that swing, to be like, oh, I did this, so that's why I messed it up and hooked. I need to do this next, right? And that's the same thing with like every sport. Is if you mess up, how do you course correct as fast as possible and identify the thing you did wrong?
Yeah, I feel like golf too, like there's so many parts of your body that you could just like tweak. Because Shaun has always had a really bad slice, and like you can look up like how to fix your slice, and there's a million different ways of how to fix your slice. So it is nice to have that coach to like be able to like see it and be like, that's what you're doing.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is nice.
And you want to know what like pretty much all of it was? Or like the big majority?
Was it just your hands?
3 things. My hands was one.
Mm-hmm.
My weight distribution between my 2 feet. And then my follow through, my rotation of like, because I always thought you had to come back straight.
Mm-hmm.
No, you're supposed to work around your body. Like you're swinging a baseball bat. Like you work around your body.
Oh.
Yeah. I didn't, those 3 things. I was like, oh, fuck. Okay.
That's cool.
Changed everything.
That's really cool.
So.
What did Kyle have change?
Same.
Oh, okay.
Pretty much same shit.
Nice.
Because the thing is, you don't have to think about like, oh, I slice all the time. If you do those 3 things right, you're no longer a slicer.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you almost have to like, you now have a completely new swing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys, I just want you to know, she was like dead asleep downstairs when we came up here, so I was really hoping she was gonna nap.
And now she's awake and wanting to play.
I think she was outside too.
That makes sense.
We could just keep going off of coaching.
Yeah, do it. Go.
Shaun and I have been talking about I don't know, just some different things, because we finished 75 hard, and that was a very good thing for us. But I don't know, it's just keeping the discipline, I guess. So some people, they need assistance to keep discipline. So we know some people that kept doing 75 hard because they're I don't do anything if I don't do 75 hard. And Shaun and I have been doing stuff just quite a bit more moderately. I think once summertime is over, we'll probably pick back up on a lot of things. But I also kind of was thinking about that with coaching groups. Because Shaun and I, we were in CCV. And it was good, it was cool, but it just didn't seem like what we needed at the time. I just don't think, I don't know. Why do you think we stopped doing CCV? I mean, besides the fact that they were revamping it and it was very inconsistent.
I don't think coaching groups work. I said it. I did. I think one-on-one coaching.
Yeah.
Here's my thing with it. Coaching groups are there for a camaraderie. The problem is, I've seen multiple coaching groups now. The interaction in the coaching groups is dog shit. Mm-hmm. Only a couple people liking shit, only a couple people talking. For the most part, dude, coaching groups are worthless.
Yeah.
You might do a call or two, you listen to some people and shit, but your interaction ain't shit in there.
No.
You're not, you have to, there's too much fluff in coaching groups, okay? There's too much fluff, there's too many people, this dog just wants to play tug of war. There's too many people in coaching groups that don't want to do the shit.
Yeah.
And so, because of that, you're not actually having quality interaction. So what's the point of the coaching group? Mm-hmm. I think one-to-one coaching is the best thing you can do. But you don't necessarily need one-to-one coaching if you can get a mentor.
Yeah.
So if you can get a mentor to just point you in the right direction a lot of times to oh, hey, when we had Josh and Audrey, they were our coach. But say even if they were just our mentors, mm-hmm. It'd be enough for them to just be hey guys, so we got this going on, and they could be haha, don't do that. Yeah. Or tweak this and this because of this. And it's oh, that makes a lot of sense.
Just kind of a second opinion.
Right.
Yeah.
Because they've been there, done that. Mm-hmm. Right. So I think the two things I'm getting even more on that, coaching groups, I think is just a lot of fluff. You're not doing a whole lot. I don't know. It's just, it seems almost like clout nowadays. You're just.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Keep thinking things, but I don't want to interrupt you.
About what?
Oh, just about this.
Oh, go ahead.
I think one thing a lot of people want from coaching groups is just that motivation, right? That push or whatever. And I think you could, just go to an event seminar. So we went to Arte and we went to Vertical Union. And I thought those were just good little pockets of motivation to kind of give us to strive more. And we did learn a lot at both. So I would definitely keep doing a couple of those a year. And two, I think a lot of people think these groups are going to give them accountability. Because I'm in this group, I am going to do all these things, but no one's there to really make sure you're doing it. Mm-hmm. So instead you could have an accountability partner, or we should have an Eau Claire accountability group, to be honest. Instead of mastermind, to have accountability.
Yeah, which mastermind could have been that if it would have been done right.
Mm-hmm. And then the last thing is I think a lot of these groups are too vague. Because that's kind of the issue Shaun and I were having with CCV a little bit, is it was good info, but I felt a lot of it didn't pertain to us or like what we needed help with. It was just like, I don't know. It was too vague to me, like, or too, because they have to be able to include everyone that's in the group, which is hundreds of people.
Right.
So that's why I think the mentoring group or a one-on-one coach would be so much better, because you can get those specific, like, okay, this is specifically like what you're having issues with, and like, let's try and figure out how to figure that out.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. So building off of that, I think we've moved too much into monetizing off of everything.
Yeah.
And so coaching groups, masterminds, all of that shit is so much like monetize off of everything. People that make more money coaching that are not over the age of 70, even then, disregard that because that's not true. People that make more money coaching than they make through their business endeavors are frauds. I would say if you make more money on your coaching, I would say if you make probably like if you make any more than 30% and more of your income from coaching, I just don't want to, like, I don't like it. I'm not a fan.
Yeah.
Not a fan. Because the thing is you're just being a professional coach then. Which, granted, there's professional coaches for, like, weightlifting and every sport. So I get it. There's, like, professional coaches for that stuff. It's the same thing as financial advisors for me, and why I get so fucking irritated with that stuff is, like, if you're telling me how to, or like where to invest my money and do all these things, but you don't do those same things, why am I listening to you? So like if you're a business coach teaching me how to flip real estate, but you don't flip much real estate, why am I listening to you?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Or like even be a part of like the real estate realm.
Right.
Because I could see like if you've been a realtor for like 20 years, you should be able to tell, like, at least, like, the things people want in houses or, like, what people comment on the most. Probably not, like, the prices of how much it actually costs to flip stuff, but they at least have, like, somewhat of a knowledge of real estate.
Right. So the first part is, I think coaching, masterminds, and coaching groups has just become monetary. Everyone's out there trying to make money on it. Half the ads on fucking YouTube are buy my coaching group. Okay, so can't stand it. I think we have moved so far away from treating the younger generation. What the hell are you doing coaching someone at 30 years old? Now, I'm talking business and life coach. What are you business and life coaching at 30 years old?
Right.
Okay. You can give like you can give your feedback, your opinions, things like that. Okay, cool, great. But monetizing it and doing that as like a business doesn't make sense to me. Where you look at like when people have been in business for 20, 30, 40, 50 years and they start doing that, it makes a lot of sense to me to like give back.
Yeah.
But my thing with giving back, I just think we've really scaled the coaching. Where before it would be like a business owner in the town might see like a kid up and coming who also is going to be a big business owner or who has the potential to be a big business owner, takes him under his wing, teaches him the shit, you know what I'm saying?
Becomes an apprentice.
Becomes an apprentice, and then mentors him up, and then that kid will do that, right?
Yeah.
But now with like social media and everything, everybody thinks they're going to be the next something. Or a lot of people think they're going to be the next something. And so they get these coaching groups. The issue with this, and this moves on to my next thing, accountability having an accountability partner is good to make sure you're like accountable and doing your shit. Mm-hmm. I think that's very important. Having a coaching group to hold you accountable, not so much. Or a coaching group to keep you motivated. Here's the thing. It's not about motivation.
No.
It's about discipline. Mm-hmm. Because your motivation, you'll have some after maybe a coaching call. You'll have some motivation after you go to a seminar. You'll have some motivation after you watch Wes Watson on YouTube. Like, you'll have a little bit of motivation. That is not carrying you through every fucking day. No. Discipline is. Because that motivation from you watching that YouTube today at fucking 2 p.m. is not going to get you to wake your ass up at 5 a.m. and do your shit tomorrow morning.
Right. That's why I think, like, doing just, like, the big events every once in a while, like, that just, like, adds to the fire that's already burning if you have discipline.
Yeah.
Because then it can, like, maybe drive you, like, a little bit extra than what you were doing for a little bit of time or something.
So where I start to move and pivot from what I'm saying, I think seminars can be huge. Mm-hmm. And I think seminars can be huge because of exactly that. You go, you get a little more motivation, but more importantly, knowledge.
Yeah.
When you go to a seminar with some big hitters, typically they're throwing it. You got to go to the right ones. Don't go to the rah-rah runs, whatever. You go to the ones where, like, they are handing out knowledge. You got dudes in that room who have been at the top of are either at the top of their game or have been at the top of their game for years. Mm-hmm. So when you go to listen at a seminar to the lowest individual you're listening to at a seminar is worth eight figures, like, okay, yeah, maybe I'm gonna listen to all these dudes. Mm-hmm. Or one of the events we listened to, sure, one of the guys might not have a whole lot of money, but he was like 7-time Mr. Olympia or some shit, Flex Lewis.
Oh, yeah.
And so I'm like, I don't know how much money the dude's got, but he was the best for like 6 or 7 years or whatever it is. Mm. Maybe I'm going to listen to that dude.
Or Matt Vincent.
Matt Vincent, yes.
I liked his. His was about, like, I'm not dead yet.
Yeah.
So, like, about, because his dad died young. So when his dad died, he made a jar and put a marble in it for every week he had until he would get to that age that his dad died.
Right.
So then every Sunday he takes out a marble and thinks about, like, did I make this marble worth it?
Did I make the week worth it? Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Did I make it?
So I like that.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's things like that, and that's what I think is good about seminars. Mm-hmm. And Matt Vincent has a coaching group. But to be honest with you, just taking that from him, if you take it and you become disciplined and you implement that kind of stuff into your life, you don't need to be on his weekly coaching call. It's not going to... Those things, the time you're spending doing those things is not going to elevate you to a crazy point. Mm-hmm. What will elevate you is being disciplined and doing your work.
Yeah.
And then calling on a mentor when you have questions.
Yeah.
I think, it'd be nice to have a mentor, is what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
That would be a lot better.
Yeah.
In the world, instead of all this, like, everybody trying to have a coach or like being in all these
a coaching group.
Yeah. So, because the thing with that is too, there are so many people who want to be an entrepreneur when it's not their thing.
Yeah. Right.
And a lot of those people could just find a mentor or somebody. How do I say this? So, like, a person that might not be an entrepreneur but could be, like, a good self-employed person. Because I think being self-employed has a major perk too. Because, I mean, keep in mind, 200 years ago, 85% of the population was self-employed.
Right.
And so I think, like, even then, just find someone in your field to, like, maybe be a mentor. Like, if you want to be self-employed in HVAC.
Yeah.
Maybe just, like, make a relationship with someone else who's self-employed in HVAC and, like, hey, You've been doing this for 40 years. Can I call you, chat with you, whatever, Yeah. And I think a lot of people are going to be open to that. Because a lot of people want to see, a lot of the older generation doesn't want to see their craft die.
Yeah.
Right now, construction, the average age in construction is like 50 years old.
I think it's 40.
It's 40? Okay.
Yeah, it went up 10 years in the past 10 years.
So it went from 30 to 40?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's 40 years old. In the next 10 years, those guys, those construction workers who are 50, they're not going to want to see, like, the knowledge they have in construction just go by the wayside. But I can bet your ass those guys would be willing to, like, if you call them, come in and give you some advice.
Oh, yeah.
And be like, hey, yeah, this is how we did this, this is how we did this. And you could pay them a little bit for, like, consulting, mentorship, whatever. But it's just, I think we're getting a little too crazy with all these young people trying to be coaches.
Yeah.
That aren't.
I haven't experienced life fully.
Yeah. Well, and they're in, like, their prime. Like, dude, if you're 40 years old and you're spending most of your time coaching, bro, you're in your prime. Like, use it to build something.
Yeah.
Build something meaningful. Help the world. Like, what do you mean? So, I don't know. Yeah. I see, though, like, people that go, like, let's talk about, like, a professional fighter. People that go and they've been training their whole life to be a fighter, right? So from, like, 10 years old, 15 years old, they've been training how to fight. And now they're 30 years old and they retire from fighting. Okay, them moving to coaching, that makes sense.
Yeah.
They only know one thing. They know how to fight. So what can they do now that they retired from fighting after 15, 20 years? Teach other people how to fight.
Right.
Okay. There's certain things where that makes sense to me. Like, really, mostly only sports.
Yeah.
Like, mostly only sports, because the thing is, if you're phenomenal at real estate development and you started real estate developing at 20 years old, and then at 35 you decide to quit real estate developing and consult only, no. Do that shit till you're 50, 60, have 30, 40 years experience, then switch over to consulting. The amount you'll be able to help people from seeing
so many different economies and percentage, like, so, yeah.
100%.
Life varies a lot more. Like, life things vary a lot more than sports do.
Right. Yep. And that's why business and careers, it's neat for me that people don't want to get better at their, like, career, that people are just going to their job for their job. Your career is really the only thing you can continue getting better at the rest of your life. Outside of maybe, like, card games or golfing or, like, intellectual,
Yeah.
You can. It doesn't take the toll. Like, you're not going to be playing football till you're 60 years old.
Right.
But you can fucking develop real estate until you die.
Yeah.
And so I would like to see, or I just don't know why more people don't take their careers and, like, the development of their careers more seriously. People just, like, go to their job and work 40 hours a week. And not that you don't even necessarily have to work more than that. Just take some of that time to develop more skills and learn more.
Yeah. Become
better. Anyway, so that was my thing on, like, coaching. You need your disciplines. Instead of motivation, get your disciplines. Discipline's the only thing that's going to carry you on.
Yep.
And then accountability. Get an accountability. Get someone that just holds you accountable to ask you if you've done your shit,
Yeah.
That's how I'd go on that with accountability. I don't know, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, we could quickly do distractions too if you wanted.
Yeah, so what we were originally going to talk about is distractions. And this actually plays right into it, I think.
It really does.
Fire at us, babe. Look at this land seal.
Dude, she had anywhere else to lay, and she decided to lay right on my cord. Speaking of distractions. So this is something, Shaun and I, we've talked about it a lot. And, like, my habits on it go on and off. But lately it's been really bad, and I don't know really why, but that doesn't matter. We have lots of distractions in life, And one of the worst distractions is that fucking thing that Shaun's holding right now.
Is my cell phone.
Yes. With social media and stuff like that, it's so... I, like, discovered the other day how easy it is to just, like, lose track of time on there. I was going through Facebook Reels and not even paying attention to the content anymore when it really, like, kicked in me, like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, I'm not even absorbing any content because, like, I just kept scrolling. Like, it's not like I was listening to the full videos or anything anymore. I was just scrolling, and I was like, what is happening? And then I noticed, because I would do it on Facebook, and I was like, okay, I gotta close out of this. Well, then guess what I did?
Went to Instagram.
I went to Instagram, went to the Reels. Exact same thing. And I was like, I need to get this thing away.
That shit right there, you sit there and you just do that thing that's scrolling. You couldn't even tell me what the last video you watched was.
Maybe some cheerleader stunting.
Okay, but like, no, I'm saying
Maybe.
like while you're doing it, while during the activity, if it's like, hey, what was like the last 2 videos you just watched? You'd have to scroll back because you wouldn't know.
Yeah.
You just like, it's just mind numbing. That's why I don't think we should have Facebook and Snapchat on our Facebook and Instagram on our phone. I actually don't think we should have Snapchat either.
Yeah.
In a perfect world, we'd delete Snapchat.
Yeah.
Because Snapchat's got too much shit, because Snapchat's got Reels now too.
And those I don't watch. You are bad with those.
Yeah, do you know why I'm bad with them?
Why?
Because I deleted Instagram and Facebook for a long time.
So you replaced it with something else.
Yeah.
Which that's what, like, so today and yesterday I've been trying to be on my phone less. So I've been reading my book more. Right.
It's the distractions of not just your phone, but anything. This happens. This is a thing for me, definitely. I experience. And like Joe Rogan actually talks about it too. When I would get, like at work, whatever, if I get tasks that are overwhelming, I'll just fucking grab my phone and I'll just like mind numb for like 5 minutes to just like essentially procrastinate and not like let my mind, like, I'm procrastinating and I'm like, fuck, I don't want to deal with this shit. Like, it's too much. Like, just got my phone. When instead, you should just fucking tackle it. You should just, like... Start. Instead, you sit there for 5 minutes like, fuck my life, dude. I gotta fucking do this shit in a minute. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just start.
That and the 5 priorities, I think it would be a huge help. Like... I have so many things going on in my mind constantly that, yeah, I get that overwhelming feeling, and I'm just like, I have so much I need to do, so I'm just like, I'm just going to give up and go on my phone. Yes. Instead of starting. So I think doing, like, the 5 priorities at least gives you, like, an objective. Because then when you finish each one, you get the satisfaction of checking it off. Right. And then it inspires you to do more and more. But, yeah, I think the key to discipline is... not having that on you.
Or taking so much of the stuff off of it that, like...
It's just a phone.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, I mean, I kept Instagram because I was like, oh, I'll post on there, but I haven't been posting. And to be honest, I think I can do most of the posting just through Canva anyways. So I can't do stories on there, but I feel like it'd be a good thing to just take away... for a little while to, like, clear it out.
Not even for a little bit. You have to get rid of it. Because I brought mine back, and I was phenomenal for, like, the first, like, 2 weeks with it, like, first week or two with it back. Not an issue. I am back to worse than I was before. Yeah. It's that fast.
I think it feels like it's a stronger like, I have a stronger connection to it now than I did, like, a couple weeks ago. Like, I'm curious if there's something that they did to make it more addictive.
I don't know. All I know is that, dude, the social media is the most distracting thing, period. One of the guys I was listening to on Joe Rogan's podcast said how, like, 2 years ago or something, he was, like, walking with his friends. He had his phone. He's like, dude, fuck this. Humchucked it. I think it was Zach Bryan, the artist.
Yeah.
Humchucked his phone. Was like, done with that thing. Just got rid of it. Boom, threw it. Done with that. And he went and bought a flip phone.
Yeah.
And he's got a flip phone now.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude.
Genius.
That's smart.
Mm-hmm.
These things are dangerous.
Yeah.
Dangerous. Here's my thing with it. And this is where people are going to go with it. Oh, well, I learned shit on those apps.
We've said it
100%. And that's the thing, dude. On my podcast, I do learn shit. On my reels, I learn shit. How much of that
are you retaining?
Are we implementing? Not just retaining, implementing.
I have quite a few things saved for like stuff to make around the house.
Yes.
But that's an easy Google search I could do instead.
100%. So all these things that we like, and that's like the podcasts and shit I listen to and the ebooks and all that shit. Ebooks might be the dumbest shit for personal development.
Yeah.
Here's why. You cannot highlight and take notes. Mm-hmm. I'm driving around listening to an ebook on personal development. What the fuck did I just get out of that?
Right.
Nothing, because I didn't like write it down. Nothing, you know. Where in the book I'm reading right now, that bitch is highlighted to the end of the world. Mm-hmm. And like Nick, he's got a notebook for reading. Mm-hmm. And like he reads and he like takes all of his notes, and then when he's done with it, he takes and he goes through all those notes and writes out his like top 3 to 5 things and puts it in a different notebook, right?
So he has 2 different notebooks?
Yeah. So he's got one to like jot stupid stuff down, and then he's got one like what are the 3 to 5 main takeaways from this book. So he's got a book, notebook of like the best things you need to know for business and life.
I do like that because I have my green one.
Yeah.
So my green one have most of the personal development books I've read, and then even when we go to seminars, I take notes in that one too. So it would be nice to have another notebook to go through those again and highlight the top 3. So I like that.
So my point being, these distractions we have, and distractions are everything. Mm-hmm. Like we can distract ourselves with just about anything.
Yeah, we can.
The dog. Yeah, Sam. She was just staring at me. I had to lay down and cuddle her for an hour. Like, makes sense, right?
Read my book.
Yeah. So we let ourselves get distracted with little shit constantly, which takes us away from life. Mm-hmm. And it's not just business, it's life. Mm-hmm. How many times have you fucked around with your afternoon and sat on your phone, watched TV or something when you could have been out with the dog, been out with your family, like doing anything, cleaning the house, like whatever it is. There's so many of these things we take for granted because we just use them as distractions to numb our fucking minds.
Yeah.
Dude, actually, one last thing on that, okay?
Okay, yeah.
I've got a fucking issue with wanting a new vehicle. Mm-hmm. Okay? Facts. That distracts my mind more than anything else, period. Okay?
You didn't think about it when you had Facebook, did you?
When I deleted Facebook for a couple weeks, I thought about cars a few times. A few times. It'd be like when I saw a Porsche or something on the road, I'd be like, oh man, that's really cool. And I was like, oh man, maybe I should get a Porsche. And I was just like, meh. Now that I have Facebook and I can go on Marketplace, I think about it every day, all day. Mm-hmm. It is stupid.
Mm-hmm. I kind of want to try meditating.
I hear it works really well.
Mm-hmm. I just can tell, especially like the days that I do spend more time on my phone, like my head is just so like foggy and it's just ripping. It's just going. And like they do say that's why like kids have ADHD problems right now is because of technology and like playing video
100%.
games and staring at a screen. Like it really causes the brain to just go.
I think we utilize our calling too much, our texting too much even too. Like distracting from the task at hand. So like when you're driving and you decide to make a call or a text or whatever, you're distracted from the task at hand. Driving. Or like, dude, some podcasts I listen to, I get so into that like I can't even I don't even think I'm just an autopilot. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm into that fucking podcast or book, right? So there's so many distractions that, like, little distractions we don't think about too, right? And sometimes those things can be good because, like, if you're on a long car ride, you're tired, you're on the freeway, whatever, make that phone call, listen to that podcast, do whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like, stay awake. Don't, by all means, stay awake. But like, it's something to keep in mind, you know?
Yeah. It's very interesting.
What else do you have for distractions?
I don't know. I think it's a huge issue right now. And I mean, that's how they're kind of brainwashing us into not being as productive or, like, I think it's dumbing us down, like not getting people to go to their full potential. Because I've just been thinking of all the tasks that I wanted to complete. I should have completed by the end of August. But because I've been distracted on my phone or reading my book instead, like, I wasted so much time doing that instead of finishing the property management binder or whatever.
100%. When I'm super guilty with it with, like, my podcasts. Like, during my work day, I will listen to a podcast driving from place to place. So that just took away like 2 hours of my day I could have been thinking. So I'm distracting myself from thinking about how to grow my business.
Yeah.
Or, like, do these things.
I don't know how you work with podcast running. I can't really do that. I can edit the podcast with, like, my things playing, but...
No, I'm not even saying that. I'm saying, like, even drive time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know, like, even drive, like, and so...
Do you remember being a kid and being able to just, like, whenever we drove anywhere, like, right, we only could listen to the radio. And I remember just being a kid and just having to, like, look out the window.
And fantasize?
Just fantasize and think.
Yeah. 100%.
We just don't do that anymore.
Fuck no. Back when, like, your radio station was, like, one country or one rock station and you just sat there like... Yeah. Ain't the same no more.
They say now, like, kids nowadays, so being bored is really good for your creative side.
100% it is.
And kids these days, like, are never bored because they're just, like, given a tablet, given a movie, given something to...
Right.
They don't just get to let their minds think. Which, we did read, too, that there's, like, a form of meditating of just letting your mind go where it wants to go for 5 minutes.
So, the one thing that I think this will affect us with, right? It could affect us in a positive and negative way. If we're not, like, listening and doing these things that are so distracting... For podcasts, we're not going to have anywhere near the amount of information to give.
Right.
Because we base a lot of the shit on, like, what we're seeing in, like, on social media today. What are we seeing? What's our podcast telling us and all that shit, right? So if we got rid of all that shit, we are going to, like, run out of topics. Or we're going to run out of shit to talk about. But the other positive side to that is the fucking 10 hours we waste on that for the whole week. We could set aside 2 hours and research a certain area, and we would be able to, like, be way better on one thing.
And then, I mean, think about it, because then I could spend more time on Canva, actually posting quality stuff on Instagram, blogging, spending more time blogging, making those actually, like, quality, Yeah, I mean, the content we do come out with can be a lot more.
Right.
Plus, I mean, we still live life. There's a lot of things we can do on life or whatever.
Oh, for sure. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I'm like, we'd probably get better at business shit. Because we'd be like, oh, yeah, like, these are the things. Because then you'd be operating in business at a way higher level than we are now. Because so much of this shit in business we shortchange because we're fucking around, fucking off.
I will say, if we get rid of Snapchat, I'm really going to be sad to miss memories.
Oh, dude, that'll be the one thing. But what I was kind of thinking with Snapchat is you just do your digital well-being, drop it down to, like, 10 minutes.
Oh, okay, 10.
Yeah, 5-10 minutes. Like, just and really move most of your conversations to text message.
Yeah.
Anything else on distractions?
I don't know. We live in a distracted world. Need to...
They, plain and simple, they want to keep us fucking...
Uneducated and scared.
Uneducated and scared. And, like, the more we can be zoned into our phones and, like, not seeing the world, the better.
Oh, plus, oh my... Shaun, we've forgotten about that TV show. What was that TV show that we watched? Black Mirror?
Yeah.
Dude, if we fucking get better at, like, controlling our, like, temptations into the phone, we'll be the ones that don't get brainwashed.
Bro, fucking guys, watch... we didn't even watch, like, full episodes. We, like, we watched a couple full episodes.
Yeah, we watched, like, 5 full episodes.
You watched 5 full episodes.
Okay, maybe I did.
But yeah, check some of Black Mirror out. It's fucked up. I need to use the bathroom.
Yeah, we're good.
All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. Hope you learned something on coaching and distractions.
Next week, we will talk about living in the U.S. versus other countries.
Yep.
And I think, let's say in 1 month, Shaun, let's revisit this.
Let's revisit this in a month.
Yes.
Okay, thanks, guys, for tuning in. Bye.
See ya.